Welcome back. First, I will give you the overview and the results for you to have to be in contact with us and to know what games are having now in this venue. So, Canada, Brazil are playing the final of pairs BC4. GB and Japan, the game that we are streaming, is the team is playing for the final. Russia and France are also playing for the final, pairs BC3. In the other side, we have GB against Sweden, playing the third and fourth place, pairs BC3. In the team, we have a peculiar game, the Portuguese teams, Brazil against Portugal in team, and for the third and fourth place of BC4, we have Germany playing against Slovakia. We are here with Claire Morrison, one of the staff from GB and also coach. She will have. She's giving the help to comment this game. That is a good final between Asian country and again GB representing Europe in the teams.
Yeah, it's been a really good tournament from that actually, and it's nice to see that there's a real mix of European, Americas, and Asian countries in the medal matches. I think this will be really interesting because there'll be quite a difference in styles. Obviously, the way the GB guys played against Brazil was really good, really controlled. Japanese played very attacking against Portugal, so it'll be really interesting to see how they blend together.
In this moment, I would like to remark the game that is the final of pairs BC3s. We are having Russia against France. None of these countries will be present in Rio Paralympics in the class of BC3. They were not qualified. However, they are playing here in Póvoa the final of this class. Claire, this is a surprise for everyone.
I think in one sense it's a surprise, but in another sense, actually, as two countries, they've both really grown over the last couple of years in particular, and actually probably both quite unlucky not to qualify for Rio. And I think for me it just highlights the depth of the BC3 class. There's so much quality out there that anybody can win.
Yes, and in the pairs BC4, you are a coach also of the pairs BC4 from GB. We also saw Germany, a country that the players play 1.5 years, start playing Boccia 1.5 years ago, and in so short time they already achieved a third, fourth place, so they are playing for a medal.
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously they knocked us out, so obviously that was disappointing from our point of view. But actually they've played really, really well, and we're really unlucky actually not to defeat Canada. Canada, probably their experience came through in the tiebreak in the end. But again, it just shows that actually the expanse across the sport, how many countries are developing. Like Italy are here for the first time. They'll learn from this, they'll grow, and the more and more opportunities are out there, the more teams will be able to develop and keep improving.
And how is GB preparing for these Paralympic Games that will take place in September, since this is the last competition, international competition before the Games?
Yeah, we're doing a lot around our training camps. We've got a couple of little test matches set up with some other countries to get a little bit more sharpness as we go closer to the Games. But again, from us now, it's about coming away from here. What have we learned? What do we need to? Where are the gaps we need to fill? And just hard work between now and then.
Yes, in this moment, GB played the jack ball for the left side, close to the V and close to the line of the court, the sideline of the court. This is an experienced team, Claire. We have Nigel Murray that already have been present in different Paralympic Games, and David also in the last ones, and Joshua. What can we expect from this game? What do you think that will be the prognosis?
I think it's going to be a tight game. I think these guys have worked together really well over the last couple of years. Since Josh came into the programme after, he just missed out on selection for London, but came in and they've worked really, really hard and have developed a really strong bond. And with Claire coming into the group as well, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think whoever gets their noses in front and maybe can get a couple of points ahead, I think it'll keep the pressure. But I think there'll be lots of swings and momentum.
Yeah, after the game yesterday with the Netherlands, that almost turned GB, and they are in your group or in the group of GB in Paralympics. So it was an important match. What do you think that make the result to be surprising? Because even though Netherlands is developing also really well, we would expect GB to beat them.
I think it's a difficult one because actually we've always had really close games against the Netherlands, and they've got really quality players in their group, and I think actually the character that the GB guys showed to get that two in the end, and just really go for it, because they kind of knew that they'd lost the game, but actually can we close the gap so that we can get ourselves out of the group. That showed probably a little bit of experience and a little bit of the aggressive style that they've got as a group, to try and actually say, well, we're going to go out fighting if we're going to go out, but actually it came good and Josh played a great shot. Of course it's a could be positive boost for going into the Paralympics, but the reality is that the games will be like nothing else. The pressures are different, the expectation, the atmosphere, it's all different, and again that'll be about who's best prepared on the day to go out and do the job.
Yes, because indeed the Netherlands will be the first time in Paralympics, so this makes a big difference when it comes to the pressure, but also to the seeing a new thing, and you have that in your advantage, if we can tell that or not, because you are experienced team, especially Nigel. What is the paper of Nigel in this group? What do you feel that his experience helped the others in different moments of the game?
Yeah, absolutely, because he's got that experience where he can, calm people down when they need that, can see different shot options, can give the right support at the right time, and that's where him and David particularly work well together, because they are very different in terms of personality. So they bring, as well as excellent performance, they bring different characteristics that really help. And you see that across all the teams who are playing just now. There's a lot of experience out there, and you can see how much that supports the new developing players that people are on court with to develop through and come on.
And speaking about that, is Claire, we saw her, she's quite a new player in this international competition. What GB do, how GB choose the players to be here and to go to Paralympics representing their country? What are the develop of the sport in your country?
We obviously, the way Great Britain's set up, we work across 4 home nations, so Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales, and we work with those home nations to identify some players in their systems, and then we bring them into our programmes and then work as a team of coaches and staff to really kind of push them on and develop them. And we do a series of different things with the guys in terms of from a squad perspective, where we look at what they bring, how they develop technically, tactically, how we then measure about competition experience for people. So we'll, once we go back from here, we'll sit down and make our selection decisions for the games. So we've still got that to do, and we'll base that on everything we've learnt from this year already, from the past couple of years, to see where people have gone, and hope that becomes the right choice.
Yes, GB is one of the big highlights for all teams and pairs of the Paralympics, but also in different individuals. David and Daniel Perez from the Netherlands are two of the big European highlights in this competition. The Asians or the Asian countries are without any doubt developing in this sport a lot, because in 2002, when we had the World Open, the World Championship in this city, we wouldn't see any Asian countries. Mostly was composed by all the European countries. Do you think that they are what they do, why they are going so fast? And because we saw in the World Championship in China that GB was the only country in Europe having someone representing in the final. So this is
I think it's really interesting, because there's, particularly in the BC2 class, the quality of the Asian BC2s is quite phenomenal, and I think it's really interesting. I think there's obviously a real big investment in terms of probably since Beijing, when obviously the games were based in Asia, and the fact that we're going back to Tokyo in the next cycle. Countries are investing more in trying to find players, trying to develop players, and you can see that shining through. And there's obviously a lot of really good work going on in terms of coaching programs and how players are developed, how coaches and staff are developed, and everything that goes in around a player, rather than just finding a player and helping them to be able to deliver balls. And you can see that that's coming really well. And obviously with a lot of the Asian countries, they are big countries. So probably to be able to find players is much easier. I know that that's a challenge for us in Great Britain because we are a relatively small country. So actually trying to find players who are eligible to play Boccia is a challenge. So actually to see the mix and the depth of players that come through from Asia is fantastic. Hopefully that's something that will keep growing the sport, but hopefully we'll stay ahead of.
Yes, for a long time we had always European countries being in the highlights for Paralympics, and indeed this year we have a player from Thailand, BC2 Pattaya, that is a big BC1. Sorry, that is a big highlight for these Paralympics. Do David feel that or do you think that David feel that and feel pressure when he plays against players as him?
I don't think so. I think he likes the challenge of really good quality players, and I think particularly if you look at the BC1 class, that's really grown over the last few years. And I think I know he gets really excited about the opportunity to play other top class BC1s. And I think that that's just really healthy for the sport. And you can see the quality in the team games now, that actually the BC1s become so integral to the success of a team, where possibly many moons ago you would potentially tactically isolate the BC1, but actually now BC1s add so much value to the teams, which is brilliant. And you see that quality across the 4 teams who are here as well.
And this question I think is interesting. What is the growing of the women's participating in boccia competitions? Because this is now a rule from IPC that at least in Paralympic Games all the teams and pairs need to have a woman or 2 women for every 3 teams and pairs. So what do you think about that? Is your country prepared enough women playing boccia?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for every country, because again a lot of the conditions that a lot of the players have are less prevalent in female players. So you automatically work on a smaller pool of players. But I think for us, certainly as Great Britain, we've certainly looked at it in terms of developing the player, regardless of whether they're a male or female player. We're really fortunate. We've got 3 really strong females within our squad. Claire, who's obviously with the team final, Jess Hunter, who's a BC3, and Evie Edwards, who plays with the BC4. So we're really lucky that we've got players that we've been able to develop and push on. And actually, you see a lot through the teams and pairs that have been here. There's some great female players here. Alison, who's playing with the Canadian BC4s. Michaela, who's playing with the Slovakian BC4s. There's a lot of really good female players around, and I think it's just about, again, trying to find the numbers of players and be able to develop them properly, so that we can keep enhancing the overall sport.
We will interrupt just for a second to change our camera for the right angle. Thank you very much. Back again with Claire Morrison. We will now comment the game, specifically see and what kind of tactics are presenting in these 2 teams and what makes them different, since they come from totally different backgrounds of bocce and totally different types of tactics and play. So in this moment the result is 1-0 for GB. And now Japan throw the first the jack and the first ball not so well played, Claire.
Yeah, they've gone again to the cross length, and actually really interesting because they've obviously come onto the blue side of the court, whereas against Portugal they played everything down the red side of the court, even though they played blue, which tactically obviously they wanted to isolate Valente from Portugal. What's happened here is obviously because the jack's gone to the first ball's gone to the right of the jack, gives GB an opportunity to come in there with the target, which Nigel's not quite managed to do, just played it a little bit hard. But again, jack's still open, and there's an opportunity for somebody to get in and get control of the end.
Let's see what will be the tactic of Japan. We would say close to the jack, right?
Yeah, I think if Fuji's about to play the ball, and I think it looks like she's about to play the shot. She's got a really nice line in there to the jack, so if she can get that covered, obviously then would force GB to play and try and get back in. Because obviously you want to, every time you want to try and force your opponent to be playing, so you've got time to have more balls at the end to try and rack up a score.
Too far away. She was with the front line, but not really well played.
Yeah, her line was okay. I think if she'd caught the line, she probably would have been fine. But obviously, with just that, I think she plays with a little bit harder balls, so they're much more difficult to try and stop. But she'll take another go at it and see if she can get it in the right place.
Great ball from Japan.
Yeah, it's good because obviously she learnt from the first one and kind of came more right than with the first shot. Again, it's in a good position. It's obviously holding, but the jack's still quite exposed, so there's an opportunity for GB to try and get back in control and force Japan to play.
Yes, and Japan have 3 more balls. GB still with 5. So in this game is normally that the ones that use less balls in the first are the ones that have more opportunities for the end.
Yeah, definitely, because again, obviously, the more you give your opponent the opportunity to keep playing balls, the more you have then left to try and get control and work an end. And you often see that once your opponent's out of balls, you can then try and move things around and try and get into a position where you can then maximise the score.
It's a peculiar team because they always speak so loud that everyone around can hear the tactics. But this is also good, even though the athletes, some of them understand English. This also gives them they put the pressure also in the others.
Yeah, very much so, and I think that's where we joke as a squad about how much these guys talk. They talk a lot, but it's good because actually it helps them kind of process exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. But yeah, you can see it a lot of the time. Other teams are going, what are they talking about? Especially because I think they talk quite fast as well.
Great shot from David Smith. That is one of the highlights again for these Paralympic Games. Number 2 in the world ranking at this moment. And a constant player that always make good results and experience also already with the Paralympics from London, where they also win medals. So this helps. And what you think we will try to do here, Claire?
I think he's probably got quite a good line to come up, just the inside. Again, although he's come up a little bit short there, he's probably in a good position where he can probably then try and knock that on. Obviously, Sugamura's got a good line in as well, so he may go because obviously they've both got him and Hiroshi have got 1 ball left each. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes and tries to kill the end, so that might leave Hiroshi with a ball left and force our guys to have to play.
Yes, so the player 204 from Japan is now preparing to play. Great shot, but still open for David and for Joshua.
Yeah, I think again it's a perfectly weighted shot. Just come up the left hand side a little bit, so it gives probably David in particular. It's got a really good line in because you can then use that to help balance, almost bridge between the two, which is what he's saying just now as well. And it actually gives him a nice target to play into.
The number 7 of the world ranking is Japanese, Hidetaka Sugimura, and is the player 204 that is also experienced player, but that's also been growing. Japan is the 7 in world ranking, Great Britain in the 2nd place at this moment, Brazil 3rd, and Slovakia 4th. The truth is that Portugal, that is number 5 in the world ranking, is playing for a medal with Brazil. Claire, Portugal, quite a known team, really experienced players. Antonio was for the first time in the Paralympic Games in '84. Does this make difference?
I think it does, because I think, again, like the experience that we've got with Nigel and David, it brings a lot of experience in terms of what a team are trying to do and how they do it. I know it's nice to see that they've got another BC1 with them this time. Obviously they're starting to think ahead for the next cycle.
Yeah, Joshua with a great ball in this moment. Scoring still Japan, but with a great shot from Joshua.
Yeah, I think what Josh has done is actually he's really protected that jack from when Hirose has to play, because it blocks the ability to play a knock on. I think what David will look at now is potentially just trying to get rid of that blue that's next to the jack, because even if he catches a little bit of the red, it protects the white quite a lot, and it forces Japan to have to play, and we'd have quite a big space to play into.
Yeah, great shot from Steve, opening the view to Joshua. So it's still Japan playing. Anyway, is the player 206 that have the ball quite difficult angle. So
yeah, I think obviously probably the ideal shot for him is to try and knock one of the shorter blues on. It's a tough position for him to be able to get into a scoring position. But it's one of these shots where actually even if he can't get the point, if he can close the end down, it limits our ability to then try and score more, which obviously is very important going into the third end, where you don't want to give us a lot of momentum, so that if obviously we get a couple of points out of this end, that gives us a bit more of a comfort, whereas actually if they can reduce what we can score here, it keeps the pressure ticking along.
Yes, and anyway, if he decides to make that move, Joshua and David still have a quite open situation to make 2 points more.
Yeah, I think there's still enough space to play in there, and obviously Josh would take the confidence from his first ball and trust the line that he had. So this is an important shot from Hirose.
Great shot from Japan player. Close at this moment the line, or the open line that David and Joshua had to play. And according with the referee, 1 point for blue at this moment.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot because there was a lot of pressure on him to play that shot, and he got the line perfectly and the weight control perfectly. So now to be holding shot in a really good position, and there's a nice cluster of blues there that actually make it pretty tough for the GB guys. They're going to have to really attack this to try and get the point out at the end.
In the game of in the final of pairs BC4, in these moments, two balls for Canada and one ball for Brazil. Quite tight game. The ball is out, Claire.
Yeah, I think you just kind of pulled it a little bit just to try and kind of knock the red on a little bit closer, but just pulled it. So now it's just up to Josh to play his last ball and see if he can just get a little clip on that front red to try and get in the scoring zone.
He opened for David, maybe. Oh, it's finished. Yeah, one ball was out. 1 point to Japan. Still everything to go. With forehand still to go, so a long game will go. We will stop for a second to change our camera, and then I will update you of the results in the other courts. Thank you very much. We are back to comment with Claire Morrison the game, but also the development of the GB team in the year of Paralympic. At this time, as I told you in the game, in the final of pair BC3, Canada is winning to Brazil for 2-1. Germany, Slovakia. Slovakia is beating German for 5-0. Brazil, Portugal teams BC1, BC2 at this moment is 3 for Brazil, 2 to Portugal. In also third and fourth place pairs BC3, GB is beating Sweden for 3-0. In the final of pairs BC3, France is losing against Russia 2-0, and in our court the result is 1-1, so everything open for GB. A really good first ball from David, Claire, giving some difficulties to the Japanese.
Yeah, again, it's been in a really good position, so already the Japanese have had 2 shots at it but haven't managed to move it. So again, that just puts a little bit more pressure on the other Japanese players. But that's a really good ball actually in there from Hiroshi, because again, it closes down the scoring zone and it gives them a chance to use it to build.
Yes, as much balls people, the other teams use, as much better in this moment, because if you can finish with the high number of balls, you have more possibility to change the score of the game.
Yeah, and I think you've got the opportunity to really make an impact on the game. You know, if you see the opportunity in the BC4 game that's on next to us at the moment. In the first end, Canada had a ball left at the end and managed to get 2 out of it. And again, just to give you that extra little bit of a margin makes such a difference. And we saw that from a Great Britain point of view against Brazil in the semi-final. Quite frequently, we had balls left, so we were able to score 3 or 4 in an end, and that just gives you the confidence to go into the next end with you know, more belief in your ability to play and better execution of shots, and it makes it more difficult for your opponents because they're then always trying to chase the game.
Yes, and yesterday in the game against the Netherlands, the last ball in the last set was in the last end was what gave the GB the possibility to be playing here today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if we'd only taken one in the final end, we would not have qualified through. But to do something with that last ball to make it 2 points that we took meant that we went through on points difference in a very tough group. So it just shows you when you've got that last ball, you can try and do something.
Yes, because Russia was also in the group of the Netherlands and the GB. All of them had one winning, and the difference between the Netherlands and GB was for 1 point. A really tough group. These two countries will also play each other in Rio, as we told. At this moment, the referees GB will play. So Japan 3 balls in that left side. Making difficult for Nigel to play.
Yeah, I think probably either Nigel or David might try and play it and just try and open it up, because with the Japanese only have 1 ball left to play, and obviously we've got still 5 left to play. Everything's very tight at the moment, but if we can try and open it up, then it gives us more opportunities to try and score points and win the end.
Joshua is the youngest player in this team, but he's showing a really good performance.
Yeah, he's really matured as a player over the last couple of years, and again, a lot of that is about the support that he's had from David and Nigel on court, and obviously performance-wise, he's got better and better, and adds a different dimension to the team, and it's good for these guys to have a young pup with them, just to keep them feeling young as well. Although David would kill me for saying that, because obviously David's still young.
Today, after this round of games, we will start with the individual competition. We will be broadcasting the court 6. So first game, Japan against Israel. Sorry, but I need to interview, because in the 2 courts that are in our side was almost at the same moment a ball jumped to the top. Brazil, Canada put it a really great ball there. Brazil now is Canada without balls. Brazil is scoring, I would say, 2 or 3 points, and here David also made was David right? Nigel also made a nice ball that jumped on top to the others, and yeah, it was a great shot.
It was fantastic actually, both from Nigel and from Dressel, because actually it's a real skill to be able to do that, and you used to just really see that in the BC4 class, but now actually you see it across all classes, BC3s included, and it's brilliant because it actually makes it really tough for your opponents to try and deal with it. I think from Derceo's point of view, it was a great last ball because obviously it was the very last ball he played. I think they had one left, but they've thrown that away. You know, basically it's very clinical, whereas for Nigel's shot, you know, the end's still very much alive, but it gives them an opportunity to again force Japan to have to play their last ball if it's sitting 1-1. You know, after it looks like Josh is going to play, but if that doesn't change anything, obviously the game is very interesting.
Yes, and Brazil, Canada is just finishing the third end. Two balls for Brazil. This makes a result of 4-3 for Brazil. So they were losing for 1 point. In this moment they are winning for 1 point also. So this will be a tough last hand. Claire, you that are expert in BC4s.
This is going to be a great last end. Two very, very strong teams who obviously, both being from the Americas, play each other quite a lot. You know, and always tough opponents, you know, regardless of which lineup either team have got. This is going to be a really interesting and a very vocal end, I think. I think there'll be a lot of energy through here, and it'll be a cracker.
Yes, this is a possible final also in Rio. So they are two big countries in BC4 pairs. GB together with other European and Asian countries, but these are from America. These are really strong teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Brazilians have been leading lights in the BC4 class for many years, and the Canadians have really come on a lot in the last, you know, probably 6 years. You know, they did really well in London, and you know, and have really grown from that. You know, and that first ball from Alison there just shows pressure. You know, because she's very good at getting her layups and getting her first ball on the jack, but obviously just going a bit past it there. But that's just the pressure of the occasion, of the fact that, you know, it's all down to this last end. You know, and again, that's probably where a little bit of inexperience, although she has got quite a lot of experience, but that's where that little bit of difference is. But you know, I'm sure they'll come back into it.
Yes, and the noise that we can hear from the Brazilians every time that something goes, this is what we will have in Rio, and that I think some people don't really recognize that as if they can feel that 10,000 places in the stadium will be really an amazing experience, maybe even more than London, since London had 6,000 places. But also for all the happiness and the screaming that the Brazilians have.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere in Rio is going to be phenomenal. You know, they travel with a good squad, and from that noise you can tell that Santos has just nailed the jack. But I think Alison will make short work of it and get that moved. But yeah, the atmosphere in Rio has got the potential to be quite phenomenal. The Brazilian people, the atmosphere for whatever sport is tremendous, and I think that'll be really good for our sport, because again it just raises the profile of Boccia, and it attracts people in, even when, you know, they don't know what Boccia is. It'll attract people in and really sell the sport to others.
Yes, and Slovakia, Germany just finished, and 6-1 for Slovakia, so they are the winners of the bronze medal in this BISFed 2016 World Open in Portugal, Povo de Varzim. The last competition before Rio, so we can also expect a high performance from Slovakia there as a pair BC4.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously they'll be in our group in Rio, and the first team that we'll play. You know, we know they've got depth, they've worked really hard, and actually they've got a real good group there. And obviously Samuel is a fantastic player. You know, and we've had a lot of really tight games against Slovakia over the last couple of years. So you know, obviously we lost to them yesterday, but we're looking forward to playing them in Rio.
Yes, and Samuel Andrexi is a really strong player. He won the World Open in Dubai last time, the last Open. So he's a young player, but also a really good one.
Absolutely, and you can see how he's grown and both on and off court over the last couple of years, and he's really challenged more established BC4s really well, and I think the way he works with the team around him mean that actually as a pair they've grown really strong.
Yes, and now GB finalizing the game. Just Nigel played a short ball. The referee is measuring, so was not a lot to do in this situation. Maybe this is the moment that we say that if we play a ball there, we could stay without the points, Claire.
Yeah, I think it became a very risky end to play, and I think when you're in that situation, you don't want to try and risk it. So you lose the end, and it's worth maybe just saying, right, okay, if it's 1-1, we take it and we move on, rather than losing at the end, particularly your own end. And you see the tightness of these games, and the longer this game goes on, and the closer it is, and the closer it remains, the more that the pressure will ramp up on the players, and when that one ball comes in, that somebody maybe makes a mistake or pulls out a brilliant shot, that could be the difference between winning and losing the gold.
Yes, so now the final pairs BC4. Marcelo preparing the shot. And a great ball from Russia now in BC3. Oh, a hand of result, 2 balls for red and 1 for blue. The captains are going to the court to see, and difficult also to measure. And Japan asked to measure again. Let's see if we'll continue this result.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be a referee in this situation, because there's such small margins that you've got to have a very steady hand and a lot of confidence in your refereeing. But that's again where we're really lucky that as the sport's grown, the quality of referees and officials has grown as well, and you can see that here. A fantastic group of officials here, which means that the players can play in the best possible way, because they don't have to worry about how the game's managed, because they can just get on and do what they're doing, because they've got a great bunch of referees to keep them in line.
Yes, I would like to remark all the work, the great job from the referees, but also from the volunteers and all the organization that makes this event possible, and a reference around the world. It's always good to come back to Portugal, Claire.
Absolutely, and to be here at this venue in Pavoa, we love it, because it's a great venue, real nice atmosphere, and there's always a really good quality of team that comes here. I remember coming here before London, and the games there, again, the quality was superb, and we've been back again obviously since then, and people know that Portuguese organisation host a very good event, and we've seen that again today in terms of the quality of the teams and the pairs that come, because they know they're going to come and get such a good event, and that's really helped set the standard for all the other events that have developed into the calendar around the world, because actually people know there's a standard of event that we need to put on, and that's why we're seeing more and more players coming through the systems, and more referees, more volunteers who are engaging in the sport, and it's just growing everything, because we're getting a fantastic world-class event every time we go around the world.
Yes. We will do a short break. Is a tie break in this moment for the teams. We will come back with Claire Morrison. Thank you. Okay, back to the game. We'll start the fourth end. I will try to tell you some results in other courts. The third and fourth place, Portugal against Brazil in teams BC1, BC2. The result is 3-3. BC3 also for third and fourth place. GB is beating Sweden for 6-0. Russia and France in this moment 2-2. And the game of Canada and Brazil BC4 is pair BC4 is in the way to finish. Yes, and now Eliseu do a really good ball.
Yeah, I think the quality of the first ball from Marcelo was really good. Because it forced Canada to have to play balls, and they're out of balls now. And Darcio's just played a perfectly weighted ball into the jack, which means that they've won the game. They don't need to play all of the balls, and actually just again shows the value of a really good ball on the jack. That Alison had a couple of really good shots at it, but it just wouldn't move. And they were really unlucky actually to come out on the losing side, but because two top quality sides, but the Brazilians have shown their quality and and class under the pressure there.
And the only thing that we hear in this venue at this moment is Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. So we can almost tell for sure the referee is still measuring, but most likely is 2 balls for Brazil. So this makes that they will be the champions. They will receive this gold medal once more. This gold pair making a story in before Paralympics. They that are the only ones in this moment from Brazil discussing the final. I will just tell some words for the Portuguese that are also seeing the streaming. Brasil acaba de ganhar a medalha de ouro na classe BC4, o par BC4. Marcelo, Eliseu e acabam de ganhar 4 bolas para o Brasil. O resultado final, 6 bolas para o Brasil e 2 bolas para o Canadá. Muitos parabéns. A última e única equipa a disputar neste momento uma final, tendo também estando a disputar terceiro e quarto lugar a equipa do Brasil BC1, BC2 com Portugal neste momento com o resultado de 3-3. Back to English, Claire, and these 2 balls almost at the same distance.
Yeah, it's been really interesting because obviously Fiji played her first ball just a little bit short of the jack, but in a really good line. And then David played his first ball almost the same weight, but just a little bit past the jack. So again, it's a tight one to call. Quite open at the moment, but a lot of opportunity.
And Japan now really a short ball again.
Yeah, which is a real surprise actually, because Sugamura is a very good player, and it's a real surprise that he's come up quite short there. So again, now just puts a little bit more pressure on the next ball and the quality of the next ball that has to be played, and the way they're lining up. It'll be interesting to see who they have play, because obviously they want to try and cover off as many angles as possible.
Brazil is indeed all around these venues screaming. It's good, and now they will all go to support the team that is playing against Portugal for the third and fourth place. Canada and with the second place is not bad, right, Claire?
Absolutely, because again, particularly in Marco and Alison, who have really established themselves as their first pairing over the last couple of years, are both top quality players. Marco has had a real good record of winning medals, and individually as well as within the pair. And Alison proved that last year as well. She kind of made a big step up in terms of the World Open in Poznan. So again, they've got a lot of strength and depth and complement each other really well as a pair with their different skill sets. So yeah, a real good quality final. But the Brazilians just came out on top.
Now, really good ball from the Japanese Claire.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, with that being their fourth ball, they had to get in control of the jack, and obviously he's knocked on one of Fuji's shorter ball, so it's now on the jack with a few other balls off the side. But again, it's when you look at probably David's line, he can see quite a bit of the jack. So they've got a couple of options in there and a little bit of space to play with.
And now interrupting again to say the result after the third end in the game, in the final game of pair BC3s. Russia is winning 5-2 to France. Now discussing GB what they should do in this situation where Joshua have two balls in his angle to play.
Yeah, I think what he's probably going to try and do is to try and move the blue that's on the jack to give the others an opportunity to try and come in. So it's an important shot from him. And he's done it really well actually, and he got a good little bit of luck there as well where he caught the blue and rolled around behind. So again, that leaves it as a ball that can be used in the future.
And this is one of the situations that is perfect that GB is playing now, because would make more difficult if Japan would play.
Absolutely, because the jack's quite open, but it's now in a perfect position for Nigel, because it's right in front of him and he's got two reds nicely behind it. So even if he can really commit to the shot, and even if he takes the jack back a little bit, it becomes very protected by the balls that are behind it, and again puts a bit more pressure on Japan.
Let's see the experience Nigel Murray will play now. Great shot from Nigel. This is the experience gives the possibility to do these things in moments of pressure.
Absolutely, and that's where that bit of experience comes through. And although it's not perfectly on the jack, it's in a really good position because there's two reds right behind that. And although Japan will play next, it puts us in quite a strong position going forward.
It's a good option now. She had a quite open line, but she still didn't make it through. So Japan now with just one more ball needs to make the shot. Otherwise, I think is a 3-point scoring for GB at this moment, Claire.
Yeah, at the moment, GB are holding 3. I think if Hirose can get a ball just in there, even just to help limit the score, that'll be important, because obviously this is quite a poignant part of the game. We're halfway through the game now, and any slight margin you can take into the last 2 ends is important. Yeah, it's a good shot, because it kind of closes down the angle a little bit, but probably not close enough to make too much of an impact. So GB are probably holding 2 at the moment, maybe 3, but yeah, 3 according to the referee. So that's a real big margin, and a real confidence boost. So I think Nigel's got a ball left, and actually all 3 of them have got a ball left. So real probably important shot for Nigel now here, just to come in on that jack and push in and hold for 4 and see if they've got an opportunity to build. But a real pivotal moment in the game.
Yes, because GB have 2 balls still to play, and it have open angle for Nigel to push to white. So let's see. A bit to the side was.
Yeah, that was just probably a little bit of worry about knocking that blue in. But again, it's still a good shot, because it gives maybe David something to play in off of. Again, this is where they've got to be really sensible in terms of, right, we're holding 3, trying to make too much of a risk, but take the opportunities that they can.
So in your opinion, in a situation like that, they should stop and take the 3 points, since in this moment the score is 3-2. So this would give the advantage of a big advantage to GB of 4 points.
Yeah, I think especially because of the angle that Josh and David are at, and because they're both left-handed as well, that it becomes quite risky with that blue in front, that they could potentially knock that in. So to take 3 points at this stage is a real big margin, and now they've got to reinforce that in their next end and try and keep that moving, so that they can use that advantage really well.
Yeah, so this is what they did. They stopped the game. GB will not play more, and if everything continues as the referee said, is 3 points for the red. This will give a score of 6 to GB and 2 to Japan. A good margin for the last end, not last, 5th end. Yes, so we will do a quick break to move our camera. Stay tuned. Back to the game again, now with some more results. GB Sweden pair BC3's. The result at this moment is 9-0 to GB. The teams that are playing also for the 3rd and 4th place, Brazil against Portugal, is 4 points to Portugal. So the Portuguese team turned the game. Claire, is this expectable? How strong do you think is Portugal? And
yeah, I think Portugal have done really well this year. Obviously, they had a really good result out in Dubai, and that's been that's probably given them a lot of confidence. And the Brazilians have really come on over the last couple of years as they prepare for home games. And Portugal, you know, as we said earlier, they've got a lot of experience and they've been around as a group for a long time. So you can never discount that. And you know, it's not really a surprise that it's such a tight game, because obviously the Brazilians are coming off of a heavy defeat against the GB guys in the semi-final, so they'll want to respond, and you know, this will put them under a little bit of pressure now that they've started off really strongly and the Portuguese have come back into it. So you know, going into the fifth end, it'll be really good to see how Brazil respond.
So, without an official result, Russia won the game, so they will have the gold medal of the pairs BC3. Claire, this is a big surprise.
I think it's a tremendous result for Russia because they've had a really tough route to the final. Obviously, they played Portugal first thing this morning, who are a very experienced side, and did really well to win that game. And then obviously played the GB guys in the semi-final, you know, and controlled the game and did really well. So you know, credit to them because actually they've played a really strong, really confident game all the way through. And against a tremendous France team, they've come out on top.
Yes, and the most amazing thing is that this team will not be, this pair will not be playing in Rio. So this is a peculiar final.
Absolutely, but I think it gives a strong message out to what we can expect in the next cycle. You know, because we see it across all the classes. The Russians are really developing and coming on strong. The French have been tremendous in the last couple of years from a BC3 point of view. So I know BISFed do a lot of work to try and increase the popularity and the exposure of the sport around other countries, around developing nations, and you can see from this how quickly that has an impact. And I think it's really healthy for the sport that different people are in those medal zones.
Yes. So now we will stay still with the three courts playing, one for the gold medal and another two for third and fourth place, so bronze medal or fourth place. So now back to the game of BC1, BC2 for the gold medal. Now GB is in the other side. They already played 3 balls and Japan just 1, Claire.
Yeah, I think we've played 4, and you know it's really interesting to see actually after the real positive fourth end. We've struggled a little bit in this end just to keep our rhythm going. So these are the last 2 balls that we've got to play here are quite important to get Japan forced to play again, because actually if we are out of balls and Japan have an opportunity to hit things and move things, that leaves us quite exposed. So a couple of important balls coming up here.
Now not expected ball from David Smith. Still quite open, and is necessary to close that gap, otherwise GB may be in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. The jack's very exposed. We've not got a lot. There's a good zone round the jack where Japan could come in and score. So it's an important ball from Josh now, just to get something in front to force Japan to really work hard. Otherwise they've got an opportunity to probably roll in for a few points.
And in this situation, I'm afraid that GB can be in a difficult position since Japan still have 5 balls to play, 2 of them from the 2 sides where is open the jack.
Absolutely, and I think there's an opportunity for them to score quite heavily here. Again, it'll be interesting to see how aggressive they play this, because again, if they come in and try and really shift that jack back a little bit, they've got more to play into. If they just start to build in, it might limit them a little bit. But I think if GB get away with maybe only losing 3 here, we'll do well.
Japan preparing the shot. The player 206 will play. I'm sorry to not tell the name, but they are new players. I didn't tell them to play a lot, so I still can't say their name. Oh, this is a good ball.
It's probably more pleasing from a GB point of view. So Fuji from the BC1 in the middle of the court took the shot, but pulled it a little bit to the left, and it kind of probably blocks out Sugamura a little bit, but he may then be able to just push that in. But Hirose on the right hand side, he's got quite a lot of a good view of the jack, so there's still opportunities for him to get some points here.
The final result, GB won the bronze medal on the pairs BC3. Congratulations, and good played also from Sweden, a quite new country that won the world, that won the European champions in Guildford this year, and that qualified immediately to the Paralympic Games. GB showing a really superior game, Claire. 10-0 is a big score.
It's a really good score actually, and it's we've done a lot this year with quite a young side with Patrick and Jamie coming in. Jacob came in for the last couple of ends there, but again it shows the depth that's out there. We're very fortunate in Great Britain. There's a lot of depth from our BC3 class. That was a great shot there just from Hirose to push in. After a really good knock-on shot from Sugamura, and I think that probably means that they're lying maybe 2, possibly 3 shots, which is a really positive outcome, and they've still got 2 balls left to play.
Yes, and in this moment 3 points for them. So this will, if it stays like this, will give us. So let's see if they will tie this game. Oh, I think this is maybe a good shot to not make 4 points, Claire.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close, because obviously as Hirose came in, it rolled back a little bit, so it's whether or not it's come into the scoring zone. but Sugimura's got one more shot at it, and whether or not he can push one of the short balls in or even roll up on top will be interesting to see.
Yes, an amazing shot. I'm afraid that is 5 points there scoring, Claire.
Yeah, I think it was a tremendous shot because he actually probably did a combination of both. He knocked one in from the front, rolled up over the top, but actually it rolled round the back, so into the scoring zone. A tremendous end from the Japanese to make the opportunity to maximise the score that was available to them.
The referee is measuring, the referee from Spain, Tony, is measuring now. Let's see what is the outcome of this final match. That will lead us to the last hand of this game and to see who will be the gold medal team. David asked to take one of the balls out in the way of to have the best vision. Now we will know the result. 5 points. This gives the lead to Japan at this moment, 7-6. So GB needs to work hard in this last end to make up and to win the gold medal.
Absolutely, and it's a really good response from Japan because with GB scoring so heavily in the fourth end, to then respond to that so well in the fifth end from Japan is really good. And now it's all about the first ball from Japan will be really, really important. Both teams are having a timeout at the moment to get themselves set and ready to go. But this is going to be quite a last end.
Yes, two strong teams. We will come back after this tie break with Claire Morrison from GB team. Thank you. So ready for the last hand in this game for the gold medal. Claire, will they play long or short?
I think they might play short, just because they've got to force us to do the work. You know, and if they can play short, well, shows what I know. They've gone kind of about 3/4 length up the court, which is really interesting actually, because you know, in their semi-final against Portugal, when the jack went really short, they were really in control. So actually, they've come into a position where you know we're equally strong. So it'll be an interesting end.
Yes, waiting for the first ball. Big opportunity for GB now for a great shot.
Absolutely, because actually it was a perfectly weighted first ball from Hirose, but he's gone level with the jack, so again it gives a nice big target for GB to aim for. And again, whoever gets in first here and gets in control is looking happy in the end, but there'll be I'm sure again a lot of change in the end.
Let's see what is Nigel Murray will do. Long ball from Nigel. They are feeling the pressure to score now.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting because obviously just as he was about to play that, there was a lot of noise from the other court, where the Portuguese have just scored quite highly, you know, and that's obviously had a little impact on Nigel, but he's just pulled up on the shot a little bit and come a bit far. But you know, I'm sure he'll be confident enough to go again and get that shot nailed.
This the noise can be an issue in Brazil for the players of Boccia, since we are used to have quite a silence moment in the venues.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be a change. And I think it's a change you've seen over the last few years with the World Opens, that things have become much more atmospheric. There's been more noise, more vocal support, and I think, you know, that's an experience. Some players will really thrive on it. Some players won't like it. So it'll be interesting to see who responds. And that shows Nigel's experience. You know, he's just absolutely nailed that jack in a really good position. So you know, the momentum goes back with them, and Japan now have to deal with it. But obviously they're in a strong position because they're ahead. So you know, they might attack it, or they might just try and defend it and take it to a tie break.
Yes, this is if it continues like this, we will have one extra hand to decide who will. We like games like this, right? It's exciting to see, exciting to play, I think.
Absolutely, because it keeps everything alive, you know, and you know, you see so much in the sports that you know, when it's a tense game like this, you see the skill and the ability to cope with that pressure come out from the players, which is exciting to see.
Ball out.
The ball out, as we heard from the referee from Japan. Close, but still not enough.
Yeah, it was a good shot from Sigamura. He obviously decided to try and, you know, open the head up a little bit, but just pulled it a little bit to the left. So it'll be interesting now to see if they still try and, you know, be aggressive, or if now they try and just close out that scoring zone.
Just to ask to some people that is questioning about individuals a game, we will stream all the games that will pass in the court 6, and we will commentate some of them, not all, according with the possibility from teams, coach and players to come and to be part of this moment.
Yeah, I think that's really good as well, that actually going into the individual games, you know, there'll be a lot of coverage, because it's great for people to see so many athletes, both from a team pairs point of view, but also individually, because again, it just gets more evidence of the quality of players that's out there.
Not enough, Claire.
I think it's actually a really good shot from Fuji, because what she's done is she's put a ball in a position that can be used and pushed on. But again, it just probably reduces the opportunities for GB to score more by really tightening up what's on court.
Good for GB. They use until now 4 balls, so still. However, they are constructing some kind of barrier to GB players and then go to tie.
Yeah, absolutely. Because where the balls are positioned at the moment, again, it makes it really difficult for GB to try and get in and get an extra point. Depending on where the last 2 balls go, again, there's maybe an opportunity to try and move a couple of things or try and roll up on top. So it's going to be interesting to see the strategic placement of these last 2 balls.
Good ball. He pushed a little bit to blue, but still not enough to score.
Yeah, I think it pushed the blue in, and you know, it probably leaves Hirose now with an option to push that in to make it scoring. It's one of these ones where you're maybe trying to set up a scoring opportunity, or do you want it to stay in front so that it makes it more difficult. But I think it's a big good shot from Hirose. He's tried to kind of just nudge it in a little bit. I think the red's still holding, but it makes it just a little bit tight. So now 4 balls left for GB. They've got the point, but you know, obviously there's risk there. But will they try and go for the 2 to win the game?
Do you think that they will let the 1 or play to try to make a second one and finish the game immediately?
I think they may try and go for it, especially because 2 of them have got individual games just straight after this, so they'll want to get the job done pretty quickly. But there's an opportunity there with the skill set that they've got. There's an opportunity that they can try and create something, and we'll see how they go.
The team is discussing quite close of the situation to see what is the chance. They make the reference to the game, 3 minutes to play, and they have 4 balls. David will play first. Let's see if he makes the second point for GB and the gold medal. Portugal, Brazil in the other court. Portugal is beating Brazil 8-3. Para os brasileiros que nos estão a ouvir e a pedir comentação em português, isto é um evento internacional, por isso comentamos em inglês. Contudo, só para informação, o Brasil contra Portugal na classe BC1, BC2 em equipa está a perder por 8 bolas a 3. O último parcial está a ser jogado agora. GB made a good shot now, moving. David moved the jack a bit forward, so maybe a line for Joshua to come from the right side of the white.
Yeah, it was a really good shot from David, because what it's done is it's taken a little bit that risk away from the Blues. So now I think what they'll look is maybe a 2-ball play from Josh to try and put one up the side that he can then use to come in off. So a real good opportunity. Unfortunately, Josh just pulled that one a little bit. But I think they'll look at it again. With 2 balls left, David's got 1, Claire's got, and Josh has got 1. And again, it's just about looking and saying, right, how do we make the most of this? We're in a good position. Can we capitalise? But it's still a very tough shot because you've got to rely a lot on getting that pace control absolutely spot on.
Close ball, but still touching that blue.
Yeah, again, he's kind of coming to the right hand side a little bit. I think David's obviously seen something that he wants to maybe try, so he'll probably give it a go and see if he can use that to maybe roll up over top and give it a go. If not, it looks like we'll be heading to a tie break.
David screamed, he thought that the ball would come, still not enough. So we go to tie break in this game. We will pause for a few seconds and we'll come back for the last hand, we hope. See you, stay tuned. Hi again. We are playing the tie break now between Japan and GB for the gold medal in teams BC1, BC2. A too fast first ball going to the side from David, and now the player ranked 7 in the world from Japan is playing. Let's see what will be the outcome. A good ball from the girl, not the best player, but the girl made a good ball. Still open, Claire, for now GB change.
Yeah, I think it was, Nigel was really unlucky actually with his first ball because he just put a little bit much weight on it, so it bounced to the side, and Fuji's followed that up with a nice shot in between the red and the white. But again, it kind of means that neither team are quite in control yet. So there'll be an opportunity now to try and attack this from a GB perspective.
Portugal, Brazil just finished, and Portugal wins the bronze medal of teams BC1, BC2. A good performance, beating Brazil, that will go home just with a gold medal in pair BC4.
Absolutely, great for Portugal to win on home soil, and that'll give the players a real confidence going into the individual matches. That they've performed so well over the last couple of days, and they can take that now into their own individual performances.
And David Smith pushing the white, opening the game, and is another moment that is best to be GB playing, and now closing a ball.
Yeah, I think again the David shot there has really opened things up, and Josh has got an opportunity to come into the jack. With him being left-handed, it looks quite a tough shot, but he's in a position where he can see the jack, so hopefully he can get it right on there.
Far away ball from, and creating a difficulty situation. Oh, good, still GB playing.
Yeah, I think just a little bit too much on that shot there from Josh. Again, I think we really want to try and get in control with this next ball, because obviously Japan have only used one ball, so it's important that we try and get in control as quickly as possible and not use as many balls.
Now not so good ball from Joshua, complicating the situation of GB already with 4 balls played.
Yeah, what happened is he probably just tried to overcompensate from where he played with his last one to just try and narrow his line down, and he came too much to the other side, but Nigel's got a good line in, so hopefully if he can get it on the jack, Josh's ball becomes useful, because it becomes quite a good blocking ball. But again, a little bit more pressure on Nigel, so see how his experience kind of helps with that. And again, perfect line, but just come up a little bit short. So now, with David with his last ball, he's probably going to have to try and knock one of these through, and it's maybe a bit of a hopeful shot in terms of trying to get in and get control.
David say that he can see through the 2 balls, but he's too short. So I think he will try a good shot there in the middle.
Yeah, it's whether or not he tries to just roll up to the jack through that gap, or tries to knock one of those on and promote it into the space. I think either way we'll leave Japan with an opportunity to try and do something with the 5 balls that they've got left. So take a really good shot from David, but again, he's the type of player that you can rely on in these situations. So hopefully he'll be able to execute the shot well.
Not enough, Claire.
He's probably scoring, but the jack's very open, so I think Japan will maybe take one ball, maybe Hirose will roll the ball in and do it. But actually the referee's indicated there that the blue ball's lying closer. So Japan win the gold medal, and I say they did really well to respond in that fifth end in particular. That was the first real opportunity they had to maximise a score, and they did it, and that proved pivotal in the final result.
Yes, the referee will measure, but the first result was 1-ball to Japan. This gives them the advantage and the winning of the gold medal. Still a really good performance from GB, once more representing Europe in a final. So it was good, even if they lose. Is a good game.
Absolutely, I think it was a great game. We said at the very start there would be lots of shifts in momentum, and that proved. And we said it would be tight. And I think Japan have come out on top, and have done really well actually across the 2 games, the 2 days, and have performed really well. So it's now back to onto the individuals, and quick turnaround for David and Nigel and Claire, and a couple of Japanese players straight into individual matches in the next half an hour. But they'll take a lot of confidence from the performances they've had today, and hopefully they've still got the energy to work through in the individual matches.
Yes, it's confirmed. Japan wins the gold medal in the class teams BC1, BC2, together with Brazil in pairs BC4, and with Russia in BC3s. No known European countries, or Russia, but known Central Europe at least countries winning these medals. GB with the bronze in pair BC3, Portugal with the bronze in a pair in a team BC1, BC2, and Slovakia with a bronze medal in a class of BC4. Thank you very much. We will come back later at 4 o'clock with the individual games. The first game we will have the Japanese Taiyuki Hirozo, that is now just finishing playing with Nir Elfert from Israel. We will not be commentating this game, however will be the stream for you to see, and I will be available in the chat to give you all the results update as fast as possible. Thank you, Claire, and good luck for the individual games for GB.
Thank you very much. Thank you.